Sometimes I lay in bed for long, long spells, thinking of lines in old movies like, the power of Christ compels you, or you maniacs, you blew it up, damn you all to hell. And while thinking of the first time I heard those lines as a child, my middle-aged woes are temporarily quelled. Sometimes I lay in bed for long, long spells, wondering who killed those kids in Atlanta. Was it Wayne Williams or some other guy? Or was it the Ku Klux Klan? Based on what I've seen and heard, it looks like a cover-up scam. Cops covering for cops who said they couldn't find the kids while searching a small plot of land. And then the kids were found the very next day, when their black neighbors took the law into their own hands. Ain't that a thing? Everybody knows about JonBenet Ramsey, white, blue-eyed and blonde, and Nancy Holloway from Alabama, also white, blue-eyed and blonde. But you mentioned 30 black kids killed in 79 through 81. Most people say, never heard of that one. Sometimes to get me out of bed before 2 p.m. they need the jaws of life. For the news I watched the night before could often have me in a state of strife. I bounce out of it by meditating on the velvety pastel California colors. I look at them so deeply, as if I'm living in my final hours. Cause really, when you get to be my age, you don't know when it's gonna be your final day. I talked to a friend earlier this week. His brother just died of esophagus cancer at the young age of 48. So I read the books that make me laugh, and lately it's been nothing but John Fonte. The way young Arturo argues with his mom relentlessly, the way she scolds him constantly for not vigilantly following her guidelines of Christianity. And when I want to feel validated about my sometimes frowned upon path, I turn to Henry Miller, who continued on far beyond the books for which he was banned. Didn't matter how old he got, read the books, watch the documentaries, you never stop laughing and exuding positivity. And finally I get up and walk to Aquatic or Lafayette Park, and walk in circles in the marina in the day and sometimes just before dark, wondering what's next for me in this new world that we're living. Some of my friends think that if I walk the boarded up streets that I am sinning. Some people shame me for going out and breathing the air that I'm breathing. Some people criticize me for occasionally wearing a smile, as if they'd rather watch me perpetually agonizing. Today I woke up knowing the only thing that would lift my mood was meeting Caroline in North Beach for Chinese food. Knowing I'd be making music, starting at 2. Yeah, the world shut down, but I won't succumb. I'll always be making music. I'll travel to Ohio, though I'm more not to. Travel state to state. I miss my family and it's breaking my heart, and I gotta look after my mental state. Yeah, I know all about the world crisis. I also see the lilies and the irises and the magnolia trees and the violets. So people can gather in packs to protest and riot and burn down Walmart after Walmart, tear down statue after statue, and gather in Oklahoma dressed in red, white, and blue. Why can't I get on a plane and fly to Ohio and tell my mom and dad I love you? July 6, 2020. I just finished John Fonte's 1933 Was a Bad Year. Reading it made me realize I can't write. Not with the emotional impact like that anyhow. That book has it all. At 17, Dominic Malise tries to fuck his best friend's sister. He steals tools from his dad, and he believes that he'll be a rich southpaw pitcher within 6 months. Caroline and I are just back from Martinez. I went to the Amtrak station there and asked the lady how far east it went. She said,
Chicago.
I said, how long does it take? 2.5 days? She said,
That's right. 2.5 days.
Does this train go as far south as LA?
Yes.
How long does it take?
6 hours or 12 hours, depending.
Depending on what?
If you want to take a bus from Bakersfield, 6 hours.
How far north does it go?
Seattle.
She watched me pacing around. I finally said, yeah, I'm thinking about just getting on a train and taking off. She said,
yeah, well, there are a lot of people doing that right now.
I was just checking it out, thinking out loud. She didn't seem to mind. Caroline and I were the only people in there besides a kid sitting on a floor looking at his iPhone. He looked like he hadn't washed his hair or cut it in a year. I don't know what to read now. I'm gonna open Henry Miller's Moloch, see how it makes me feel. But nothing makes me laugh like John Fonte. I don't have any of his other books here with me right now. I just watched a little news. There were fires today, one in Gilroy, one in Fairfield, and one right under the George Miller Bridge at 2 p.m. Looks like things are heating up over a Confederate monument in downtown Shreveport. Came home from 6 days of being away, checked on the dove who's been outside my bedroom window, protecting her eggs. The last time I peeked, she was gone, and there were her 2 little fuzzy ones. This past month, the dove's nest comforted me. Like a guardian angel, the mother dove protected me. I've been so down this year, out of work, no work in sight, and now it's July. For some reason, I just came home feeling full of life. So full of life, I picked up John Fonte's Full of Life, the city lights on Columbus. They might have to change the name of the street, because of late, Christopher Columbus is getting a lot of heat. I gotta ask you, people burning down statues, yeah, I gotta ask you, did you knock down that statue just after cashing the check that Donald Trump wrote you? I don't get you. You go knocking down statues. Well, maybe I'd join you, but I got something better to do. song, I might just take the opportunity to knock down you. And if I may, whoever the song is speaking to, may I suggest that your great-great-great-great-granddaddy probably ain't no better than that man who got the plaque or the statue. Like I said, I came home, walked in the door, full of life. So full of life, full of optimism, knowing everything's gonna be alright. Like I said, I came home, walked in the door, full of life. So full of life, full of optimism, knowing everything's gonna be alright. But I slept alone last night and I missed you. I read Henry Miller's Moloch, or This Gentile World, reading about his days as a young boss and the telegraph world. All about the racial tension in the Bowery, New York, 1920s. For laughs I read Fonte, for confidence I read Nietzsche, for the truth I read Henry. I closed the book, missing my mom and dad and my sister and her girls, feeling disconnected and adrift in this 2020 world. I watched Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story from beginning to end. I rewound the part where Dewey's brother was halved, when Dewey, with his machete, cuts his brother in half. Yeah, I laughed and laughed. I rewound it so many times for laughs. I love when the doctor says to his parents, "This is the worst case I ever seen of a kid getting cut in half."
Speak English, Doc. We ain't
But
scientists.
while we were gone, I walked in circles and circles through the graveyard in a state of cogitation. There are usually two deer in there, a male and a female. But the last time I walked through there, I saw two people fornicating. Yeah, fucking in the graveyard. Hey, I don't blame them. Looks like fun. Fucking in the graveyard and being young. I don't blame them. Looks like fun. Fucking in the graveyard, being young. Yeah, were they gonna fuck with everybody stuck in the same home? An above ground pool and a flamingo in the yard, and a garden full of watermelon, squash and chard. They take their fucking to the graveyard. You ain't gonna stop nature, no you can't. You can file complaints, vent your hates, let the blood boil in your veins. But you ain't never gonna fully stop human nature. If someone wants his fentanyl fixed, he will find it. If somebody wants to fuck behind a gravestone, they will do it. And of all things, goddamn, those people were fucking behind two tombstones. Husband and wife, each stone engraved with a
pentagram.
There hasn't been a lot happening this year, I guess, if I'm singing about kids fucking in graveyards. But I have you and your love and the two deer, and now I have these three doves. But I turn on the TV and all I see are the cases of obliquity. If I spend too much time sitting around sedentary, I get panicky and take a few globules of melatonin to make me sleepy. I hate the news, it gets me down, I'm so crazy. Fox makes me laugh, CNN makes me frown. Everybody's talking about Black Lives Matter, and now they're saying don't forget to include brown. How come when I was in New Orleans all those many years, black on black murders, I tell my white friends and they'd say, and I tell my white friends, hey, blacks killing blacks in New Orleans is out of hand. And they'd say, and they'd say, and they'd say, and they'd say, and I'd say, hey, are you saying it doesn't matter because they were drug dealing, gang banging, or chasing somebody else's tang? And they said, well, all that stuff you just mentioned above is felonious. I said, no, you are erroneous. I always knew intuitively the Black Lives Lives Matter. Some kids are brought up in situations where all they know is what they see. And I can see in your eyes that the kid who got shot by a kid in New Orleans shootout is less important than you and me. Cause when I used to tell you about black on black crime in New Orleans, you would yawn. And now you're telling me that Black Lives Matter on the phone, keeping me up until dawn. As it never dawned on me, as if this whole time I've been sitting around unobservant, not noticing white-owned restaurants and hotels with black servers. It's not a trend I follow or information I've just come to gather. Don't need to see it stenciled on a sidewalk. Don't need to be reminded by Don Lemon's smirky talk. Don't need to be taught by a teacher's chalk. And hey, if Black Lives Matter, why do you live in an all-white neighborhood in Portland, Oregon? Of course your protests are peaceful, because in Oregon there are no black people. Why am I even listening to you? Tell me about race. When my girlfriend is Vietnamese, that's right, when I kiss her skin, it tastes sweeter than a light girl's skin. Can I say that? Is that alright? If a woman can say she prefers a man to be of a certain height, or that a man with an accent is her type, can I say that a darker skinned woman turns me on more than light? And maybe as I'm white I ain't supposed to speak on this. Anyone who tells me that eats fish and chips. Maybe cause I'm white they want me to sound like Dear Prudence, or John Fogerty, or Ted Nugent, or R.E.M. who met as college students. Or they're just me singing about this subject, this impudent. I'm just trying to say I always knew that Black Lives Matter. I'm glad that in 2020 so many of you have come together and acknowledged that Black Lives Matter. And to me it should be Black Lives Matter a lot. Cause where would Jim Carrey be if it was not for Keenan Ivory Wayans? You see what I'm saying? Where would boxing be without Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and Sugar Ray Robinson? And where would music be if it weren't for Robert Johnson, Louis Armstrong, James Brown, Isaac Hayes, Marvin Gaye, Michael J, NWA, HR from the Bad Brains, Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Sammy Davis, and Miles Davis? Where would art be without Bill Traylor and Basquiat? And where would writing be without James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, and the autobiographies of Mike Tyson? And where would comedy be without Richard Pryor and Red Fox and Garrett Morris, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall and Martin Lawrence? And who would have guessed that the highest paid comedian in all the world's history was Kevin Hart? So as the sun's coming up, I look next to the window at the nest, the mother dove and her young, feeling their comfort, feeling their detachment from this world situation, feeling their love will continue on no matter what the political situation on the ground. There are 3 doves and all they know is love and protection. I feel their appreciation for the nook I have given them. I feel their affection. I open Henry Miller's book Moloch. 1 minute Pergozzi is ebullient. Next minute he is crestfallen. Ain't that the way it is with all of us? Homicide victims in New Orleans. Recent trends from the American Journal of Epidemiology, Volume 128, Issue 5. Data are presented on 694 criminal homicide victims killed in the city of New Orleans during 4 years, 1979, 1982, 1985, and 1986. The homicide rate for black males was 6.5 times higher than that for white males for the years studied. Over 70% of the victims were killed by handguns. When victims were assigned to one of the 5 socioeconomic strata, homicide rates for blacks exceeded those for whites by a factor of at least 2.5 times for each socioeconomic stratum. While victims were more likely than were black victims to be legally intoxicated at the time of death, but black victims were nearly 4 times more likely to have illicit drugs other than alcohol detected. During the time period investigated, there was a marked decrease in the number of victims with pentazocine and triple-enamine, T's and blues detected, and an abrupt increase in the number of victims with detectable phencyclidine and cocaine levels. Further studies are needed to investigate risk factors for homicide victimization so that effective intervention strategies can be employed. Picked up Life magazine cover story, 45th anniversary of Jaws. Remember believing in Jaws and Beretta and Santa Claus. Man, I was 8 years old when I saw Jaws, and I still watch Jaws to relive the adventure and for the good nostalgia. Prepubescent years, no bullshit on my mind, nobody trying to fuck me, trying to take a piece of me. I watched Jaws, and of all the bullshit, I am free. I read this article in Life magazine and I felt free. When Brody says, you're gonna need a bigger boat, I'm brought back to countless memories of watching Jaws with so many lovers laying beside me throughout my history, throughout my life, throughout the eras. Watching the movie on videotape back in Ohio and here in San Francisco and out in the Sierras. Plywood Storefront Summer. Plywood Storefront Summer. Sometimes I lay in a spell all day and the world just keeps spinning. I can feel it spinning while I'm looking at the ceiling. It's comforting to know that one day when I'm gone the world will keep turning, and that maybe I'll get out just before the whole planet's fucking burning. I take refuge below my ceiling and decompress in this world that spews so many hateful feelings. Taking a day off from this world full of bad dealings, corruption and judgment and freewheeling. I peek out my window, I look at the mother dove and her young fledglings, and I find that picture so healing. I just watched two doves raise their young and they flew off, and to my surprise in flew another one. They give me comfort through this plywood storefront summer. I get depressed as fuck looking at all the moving trucks. People moving to Pinole and Alameda and Antioch. I got confused because somebody was texting me about all the mass sex that they were having. Going on and bragging about all the mass sex they were having. This is good for you, wrong number. I'm reading Life magazine. Thank you for sharing. Plywood Storefront Summer. Plywood Storefront Summer. When I'm lonely and can't sleep, I walk somewhere and back. I walk down East 5th at 4 a.m., hit 7-Eleven, strapped with the knife in the event that I'm attacked. I walk the night, I always walk the night, because I love the night, I embrace the night. There's not enough things open at night. We all know nothing good happens after midnight. If I was president, antique malls would be open all night, so I could buy controllers at 4 a.m., so I could buy old Chinaware at 4 a.m., so I could buy old gardening tools at 4 a.m., so I could buy old issues of life. If I was president, my vice would be Iron Mike, cause Mike says smart things like, my ego allows me to be kind to others, because being kind to others allows me to be kind to myself, and that's my ego's objective without the struggle. So I woke up this morning, I looked at my calming birds, thinking I can't believe it, tomorrow night I'm actually playing a concert in Big Sur. Damn, this whole year's been one big long fucking blur. Let me tell you, by the time I get to Big Sur, my pianist is gonna bedazzle you with his beautiful style of both restraint and flurry. And me, I'm bringing the mic and the sound and the fury. Tomorrow night there won't be no fucking around. Tomorrow night in Big Sur, I'm gonna throw it down as if Henry Miller was still alive and was there to enjoy and observe. I'm gonna throw it down tomorrow night in Big Sur as if it's my last night on earth. Swimming in the American River today. There you are on the bank, sunbathing. What a beautiful picture, your bathing suit in shades. Oh, you're a princess, how did I ever get so lucky? Canadian geese, I like watching them flow, and watching the old timers across the river, panning for gold. All the water is so cold, yet refreshing. Ain't nothing like swimming in a river, it's so decompressing. I'm a songwriter through and through, and I'll be writing songs about you until I'm dead and blue. And you know I've lived a life and that there's been others too, but nothing compares to my life with you. Nothing compares to making love with you. Nothing compares to your delicious cooking. Nothing compares to how good I feel when I'm laying next to you watching TV and cuddling. Nothing compares with your kindness and patience. Nothing compares to your fragrance, your radiance. Since I was 15, I've carried an affliction. Since I was 15, I've lived with a condition. And I'm working on it, I'm working on it hard, baby. I got friends in my corner, advising and helping me. First time I ever looked at you, I thought, though I'm flawed, you're the one for me, and I'm the one for you. Was an eventful day. I caught a lunker, I threw it back in the river. It was a big orange carp clunker. And now you're in bed reading a book by Edward Bunker, next to the framed photo of my old cat Thumper. And I'm reading John Fonte's Full of Life. He admits he's nothing without Joyce, his beloved wife. Wouldn't matter if I rode around in a Rolls Royce. Don't matter how many custom built Les Pauls I own. Don't matter how strong my voice. Don't matter if I got a Golden Gate view. Don't none of it be nothing without you. Found me so down and full of gloom, but feeling full of gloom for me ain't nothing new. I've been carrying around since I was in my mother's womb. In fact, there's still probably residue of gloom underneath the many coats of paint in my childhood bedroom. But I'm trying to drop this bag of gloom, though I'll probably carry it around to some extent or another to my tomb. Call it gloom, call it glum. I've carried some depression, self-induced, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's genetics. Sometimes I lay in bed till 1 or 2 in the afternoon, dreaming I'm on stage playing. Then I wake and think, my God, that felt great. Then I'm hit with the pain that for now being on stage is no musician's fate, but my life is still quite a dream. Bouncing back and forth between the Sierras, San Francisco and New Orleans with you, my queen. From this day forward, I'll strive to be your king. October. Before we know it, the year's gonna be over. And damn, the Roma tomatoes we planted are still producing and tall as little trees. I'll never forget our beautiful spring and summer days this year, driving around old mountain towns, taking photos of old payphones and planting driving to the old Chinese town Islet, we stopped along the Delta and talked to a guy named Hugo who told us about the history of the town. We're having Italian food in Rio Vista and standing on a dock, looking over the water where Humphrey the whale resided for a little while. That was your idea, driving there. You come up with so many good ideas for us, things to do, road trips and little getaways. You've sensed my restlessness with not having tour dates. You've been so supportive on days that I cried and worried about my career and felt so purposeless. You're the strongest, most patient, caring, beautiful person I know. Now my only purpose is to keep making art, to be the best person I can be to you and to everybody I know. I can't wait to see you tonight when I'm back from the studio, to tell you about how full of life it is. John Fonte's relationship with his dad is so much like mine. My God, my dad's gonna be 87 in November. I can't wait for us to visit him. He'll be so happy to see me, but even happier to see me there with you. I can't tell the smoke from the far, oh my love. I can't see the bridge today from my bay window, oh my love. Lonely, lonely days, just me and a Fonte boy and your cat. I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you to come back. I need your love like a crack addict needs crack. And the flower pot that sits on my fire escape. The mother dove and her young ones are long gone. Over the summer they flew away. Last night I came home from the studio and I cried, looking at old photos of myself in a cabin in West Virginia when I was a child. I used to spend all day catching salamanders in the stream. Me and my dad would catch catfish and trout and cook them up in the fire pit for the family. I only have a few memories of each year of my elementary school life. In kindergarten I used to nap on a rug that looked like a huge green dollar bill. In the first grade I remember them dousing my hair for lice and getting a shot for chicken pies. And in the second grade I remember the tornado drill. And in the third grade we had a project where we buried time capsules. Mine had cutouts of David Bowie and Patti Smith and Led Zeppelin article. When I looked at the other kids' capsules, I knew I was on a different path than the rest of them. The other kids. In the fourth grade, on music day, I brought Alice Cooper. Alice goes to hell, goes to hell. And a kid we called John the Baptist had to leave during that portion. Rock and roll was against his religion. Now I walk the San Francisco streets and I see all the seagulls and the pigeons. And I I carry this weight. It's called middle-age depression. I have so many friends whose mothers and fathers passed of cancer at 59. Hey, I'll be 59 in 5 years' time. Baby, when you're coming home, I need you in my corner. Like Ali needed Dundee, like Duran needed Ray Ourself. You're my everything, you're my best friend, and you're my lover. If they put a gun on me, I would never trade you for another. Oh yeah, I got the October blues. When I walk, it's like I got cement in my shoes. Oh yeah, I got the October blues. The California fires keep burning and the smoke keeps oozing and oozing. Oh yeah, I got the October blues. I look out my window and everyone has moved. Oh yeah, I got the October blues. Oh yeah, I got the October blues. Throughout the day and night, all I hear are sirens. I watched the debate the other night where Trump abrasively interrupted Joe Biden. I'm making peace with these ordinary life, watching the news days. When I go to sleep, I see the lambent light of my candles flickering. The heat wave is so bad, I use the candles to kill off the mosquitoes. When I fall asleep, I see spooky apparitions. Walks along the Plywood storefronts don't do much for my emotional condition. I got no job, I got no travel, I got no paycheck. You're coming home on Tuesday, and that beats the fuck out of a tour date in Quebec. Talked to a friend in New York this morning. Today they're putting their family dog to sleep. And I talked to another friend last week whose house is burned to the ground in Berry Creek. And I'm sitting here in the studio, sticky from the heat, counting my blessings. So I don't have hits like Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings. And there's so many weddings and funerals that by Zoom we're all attending. But time with you, I know I'll soon be spending, and that's the October blues ending. to Cocoa Beach, Florida. We walked the beaches of Tel Aviv, Israel. We walked the beaches of Central Portugal. We walked the beaches of Stinson and Bolinas, California. We walked along the Tuscarawas in Ohio. We walked along the Niagara River and Buffalo. We walked along the American River in Coloma and along the Sacramento River in California. We've driven through the Sierras, through Donner's Pass and Truckee, through the snow and the pine trees. We've driven down Highway 1 so many times. Fried oysters, green chili soup, and a lolly-berry pie. I remember our first kiss like it was yesterday. We both said, first I wanna brush my teeth at the exact same time. And since then I've been yours and you've been mine. And these have been the most wonderful years of my life. These have been the most wonderful years of my life. We've shared beds in St. Miles and Reykjavik and Tokyo, and in my dad's extra bedroom in Masson, Ohio, and in New Orleans at the Monteleone. Yeah, I spent time with others throughout our time, and I've grappled with that duality of my life that I don't expect civilians to comprehend, understand, or know. The complications of my idiosyncratic soul, home life versus the turbulent life of rock and roll. The road is loneliness, emptiness, alienation, a life of temptation, flirtation, and preoccupation of juggling and compartmentalization. Can't carry this weight anymore. Shame, sorrow, and frustration. Yeah, I didn't marry my high school sweetheart. Didn't get a dog and a four-door car and a picket fence. I told y'all I'm half man, I'm half alley cat on among the leaves. And somehow y'all gave me praise for that. And somehow y'all gave me praise for that. Now I'm almost 54 and life has intervened. I'm closing those old doors, saying goodbye to that life. And I mean it. And every day I love you more and 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 more. And every day I love you and I can't wait to see you walk inside my door. Every day I'm grateful to get to know you more. Now and then I dream I'm on stage, running around trying to get from place to place to place. The other night I dreamed Hal Wilner was still alive, that I was on stage singing one of his events, and so beautiful was the vibe. The band was shaking the stage, the sound was so alive. The band was shaking the stage, the sound was so alive. And I walked off stage, and there you were, Caroline, by my side. Then I woke up, and my God, I felt so fucking down. Where did it all go? Where did he go? My old music friend Hal. I think of the world before, and I think of the world now. And I just want to take this moment to say, I miss you, Hal. Francisco are so rare. But this morning I woke up and so clear was the air. Walked up the hill, sat on a bench at Lafayette Park. Talked to my sister, told her I loved her. She said, I love you too, Mark. And Caroline called and I said, I can't wait to see you tonight. Share the bed with you and your cat and watch some TV and get a bite to eat. I've been waking up every day, snuggled up next to a pillow, thinking you're there. Then I find myself alone and 10 pounds fatter, still reading John Fonte's Full of Life. Still writing words and music for it is my blood, for it is my life. I beat myself up that I'm not as good as Henry Miller or John Fonte, but like both of them, all I want to be is true. And write a love song for you. That's all I want to do is write a love song for you. Brown eyes are like a mahogany dream. Your skin is sweet as coffee, ice cream. Your lips are as sensual as the freshest Japanese sea breeze. You lift my spirits, you lift my pride and my self-esteem. Oh, we're just back from Kakari. Places are opening back up and everywhere in the restaurant seems so jolly. When fall turns to winter, I hope the world doesn't get back to its horror story and gets more divided and more civil war. Either way, if I'm with you, there's no need for me to worry. Don't know where to go now or what to do with this story, except to give credit where credit is due. My life lacks inspiration and purpose without you. Don't know where to go now, don't know what to do, except write this love song for you. Except to write this love song for you. November, 4 years ago on this night, I remember at the same hour, sitting in the lobby of a hotel somewhere in Massachusetts, with my bandmates watching the election tick. Justin kept walking outside, smoking his rollie cigarettes, and Trump was winning just as I had expected. At about 2 a.m. I said, hey, I'm going to bed. Ah, what a tour that was that Jesus' son Kil Moon had. All my friends' wives stayed home in bed while I tried to lift the spirits of our audience. Oh, what a month. Trump had won, Leonard Cohen was dead, and each night we played famous Blue Raincoat and tribute to him. And here we are, November 2020, having tours since September 2019 with Chris and Scotty. Chris in the passenger seat, Scott was the driver, and me in the backseat, talking their ears off, texting the promoters about our riders. Told them the story about Louis Resto and how he used plaster of Paris in his gloves to put more power in his blows, and how Panama Louis put him up to it, and how Louis Resto derailed Billy Collins' life, and how later Billy got into a car accident and died, and how for so long Louis Resto lived a lie, and how years later he admitted he knew all along about what inside the gloves Panama applied, and how on camera he broke down and cry. I never killed no one, but I've lived a double life. Cheated on girlfriends and slept with other men's wives. And yeah, I may have broken some hearts. That's how life goes out there in the jungle, throwing darts in the darkness. One night stands, affairs, and flames. Sometimes short-lived romances and amicably. Sometimes you say goodbye and never hear another thing. And sometimes somebody's heart ends up stinging. And if you're not careful, you can bring home STDs. But hey, weren't we all taught the birds and the bees? Nature is nature, and we can all cave in and find ourselves lonely and weak. Everyone handles it different when they feel frustration or shame for cheating on their studs and cheating on their dames. Some shove their shame onto others and place blame. Some reach out to others and complain. Some convolute, contrive, and confuse as they try to explain how they ended up bitter after chasing a flame. After chasing an admirer, after chasing brain. Some men have swagger, some women have game, but it don't mean they're all diabolically evil. Just means they're a certain kind of people, and some will judge them as people who are unholy. But it's just the way their lives have rolled, things that have been ingrained in them since they were 3 years old. I'm somewhere between older and old, and I got KO'd, and now I'm moving forward. And that's for all of us and our suffering and pain. What of it is real? What of it is feigned? Is it all about attention and coattailing on fame? Who knows what's real anymore and what is feigned? And all the bumblebees in yellow jackets that stung us along the way. Hey, that's nature. Who are we to say we are not to be betrayed? And who are we to say we were not fairly portrayed? It all comes with the territory of hanging in the company of strangers. One night stands, affairs, and casual flings aren't promises of anything. No promises of bright futures, no promises of gifts or promise rings. No promises of big houses and drawers full of bling. No promises, no promises, no promises of anything. I'm imperfect and I'm flawed and I'm not the best broken heart mender, but I love and care for all women. I've done my best to be kind and tender. I try to be caring, to be a good listener. Though I'm imperfect and I'm flawed and I've broken some hearts, who hasn't? not even my grandpa. As for you, my love, I must make amends and dry your tears, for you've been my lover for so many years, and my best friend, and you've held me when I've been hurting and beaten down as fuck, and you've rescued me when I've fallen into ponds and lakes and oceans of bad luck. And now it is you that I'm holding and consoling while you're hurting. And now it is you that I'm making promises to, that I'm done with all of my wrongdoing. You're the love of my life, and I'm so sorry for all the hurt that I've caused you. But these are just words I know you'll see by my actions. I will prove it to you. November, what will you bring? November, what does my heart wanna sing? November, wait until spring. Bandini lays the top of the stack of books on my bedside stand next to me. I open it, flip its pages, and I think of you. And I love you like Svevo loves Maria. I love you like Svevo Bandini loves Maria. His shoes are broken and patched. He's out of work. He's behind on house payments. The Colorado winter brings him down. But tonight when he's beside her, all his woes are gone. When he melts into Maria, when he makes love to Maria. Spain, oh, I dreamed last night of Spain. After going through old journals, entries written from planes and trains to Zaragoza, stops in Pamplona, nights in Barcelona, nights in Cadiz, nights in Sevilla, pulling oranges from trees, sitting around Madrid cafes, eating jamon serrano and tortilla, crema catalana, and drinking cafe con leche. Thanksgiving in San Sebastian, a lonely cart with wheels was brought into my lonely room while I was watching planes, trains, and automobiles. Bilbao, last time I was there, I was wild by the amount of friends I saw. Oh, how I miss them now. We talked and we laughed until the sun came up. And it started raining out of nowhere. Then I went up to my room and I slept. Spain, how I miss my friends in Spain. Ezequiel and Paz, Miguel, Jose and Olga. Don't know when I'm gonna see them again, but my God, I miss them as I've told you. Nights in Tenerife, oh, Canary Islands. Don't know when I'll ever be back, but I'm so glad I got to visit them. I recall a tour date in Mallorca with Damien Dorado. Back when he was vegan, eating pistachios, and I was eating plates of Ramon Birko. Woke up from my Spanish dream this morning and looked at my phone. A text from a friend, and Biden had won. Got up, got dressed, kissed Caroline goodbye. Walked down Jack Kerouac Alley. Tables were full of people drinking wine. Vesuvius was blasting Sonic Youth Teenage Riot. Today's a great day. Today I'm feeling great. I've got love in my life. I got prosciutto on my plate and a bowl full of grapes and friends for days. Ravel plays on my stereo while I gaze at the Golden Gate. I miss you like no other. When we were young, you were like our second mother. Days in Navarre, Ohio, stranded at your house for weeks at a time. Snowbound, us kids had so much fun at your house. Heated by a big black pot belly stove, I remember the orange embers glowing. I remember the TV at night showing Happy Days in Laverne and Shirley. Oh, that was our big night. Pepperoni pizza and golden crisp potato chips and drinking root beer. Oh, those young prepubescent years. Oh, those young prepubescent years. Nothing to call my own except what was given to me, I suppose. Didn't have 2 nickels to scratch together, but me and my cousins, we had so much fun together. Climbing apple trees and playing hide and seek and Easter egg hunts. There were so many hiding places on those so many acres. Rusty cars that went on for days. And the barn that was stacked full of hay, and the church next door with a yard full of graves. And I remember my sister and Jenny playing under the tree next to the house. You'd sing, "Playmate, oh won't you play with me?" Under my apple tree, and another line about a cellar door. And we'll be jolly friends forevermore. more, 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 more. And you guys would do the strategic hand clapping thing to each other's hands while you sang it. I remember us watching Jenny and Jimmy ice skating on the frozen pond. We could never coordinate our legs right. We never figured out how to skate. And Mimi, you were off and on your own. Your husband out trucking. You can make something out of nothing. You always made sure we were fed. You used real butter that tasted so good. My mom used margarine. I can still smell the frog legs sizzling and your big black iron skillet and the bluegill and bass that we caught from the pond. You could make anything taste delicious like a magician waving a magic wand. I can still smell your white shoulders perfume and your expression that you always used. How you'd say, oh my God, Mark, even later in life when I'd surprise you in your room there at the nursing home in Brewster. So glad I got to get you on the phone on Thursday, that I got a chance to tell you how much I loved you, to tell you how much you meant to me, and I got to thank you for taking care of us, and how I'd come by and knock on your window next time I was in Ohio. Damn, I can't believe you died there a couple of days later alone. Nobody allowed in to see you due to COVID, but we were all there in spirit, and I know you know it. I've been mourning your loss the last 2 days, especially this one, as outside it's dreary and cold and pouring rain. Laying in bed thinking of my young summer and winter days, remembering your smile as bright as a big sunflower, remembering how well you took care of your son and daughters, remembering John Denver's greatest hits on display by a little turntable, remembering your kitchen and your giant oak table, and how the sun glowed mellow yellow light in the summer through the window wells, into the living room of that low-ceiling house with all that land and acreage. In your house I never once saw a mouse. It's amazing how nice you kept the place. Your home was our refuge, your home was our gathering place. I don't know what to say at this point really, except to say how much I miss you, Aunt Mimi. Your caring and loving and nurturing ways are not lost on me. You and your family have given me some of my nicest young memories. Dad turned 87 yesterday. His sister would have turned 83 on Monday. I gave him a call, gave him my condolences, and told him happy birthday. And I could hear it in his voice that he had the blues. Damn, if I was the only one left standing of 9 siblings, I'd have the blues too. We talked a while, and as always through his blues, I could hear his uplifted spirit. Don't know how he manages to shine so bright, but he made it to 87, so he must be doing something right. I talked to my cousin yesterday from about 1 to 2. We talked about the old days, and of course we talked about her mom passing away too. We talked about the new days and how far we've come. from being little kids playing out on Navarre, Ohio lawn. Cloudless innocence is wasted on the young. 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 Oh my God, what a year it's been. I've lost 3 friends, and one of those friends was a relative. To a bug that I was skeptical of back in March. But when you lose loved ones to that bug, you know it ain't no farce. And I spent all day in bed trying to decompress, to give the high-pitched tinnitus ringing in my ears a rest, to not look at a computer glowing or a phone all day, and to bask in the digitallessness. I read 3 chapters of John Connolly's The Dirty South. Takes place in small town Arkansas. Black women are being found dead, and Charlie Parker's at a local jail trying to figure it out. Thanksgiving is approaching. On the cement sidewalk, small traces of fallen leaves are encroaching. And it gives me comfort to know I'll be spending Thanksgiving with you. Your family in Telegraph Hill. I'll be around for the holidays this year, just like Jimmy Stewart. Last Thanksgiving we spent together was years ago in Reykjavik. It was so dark and cold that in the hotel we stayed and never left. Looking back, that time was like a dream. I was playing to a full house, playing my guitar and singing. I miss my mom and dad, but word has it, it ain't time to travel. Numbers spiking in Ohio, best to stick around in San Francisco. We can get on the phone and we can laugh and cry. Laugh about Panera Bread adventures and cry about Aunt Mimi, who less than a week ago died. I got a flu shot today and had a nice talk with a bank teller about her year and how it's turned out for her family and her. Talked about gratitude. She said, Mark, for things being so grim, you seem to have a good attitude. I said, you never heard that song PMA by the Bad Brains? She said, who? What are the Bad Brains? I said, they were this punk band with a song called PMA. It means positive mental attitude. There's a documentary about them. It's called. Then she interrupted me and said, have a nice day, Mark. I'm grateful to my friends who've gotten on the phone with me and talked with me, and to those of them who took the time out to tell me that they loved me. We all agree it's been a rough year, but I've gotten to know some of my friends better this year than I did in the last 20 years or so. People start opening up when the world is full of chaos and fear. And us songbirds don't fall under what constitutes as necessity. WWE will be back in full swing before live music, and that's a pity. got gratitude. For my health, for the roof over my head, and you. My mom and dad are still living, and I got music so therapeutic and so nurturing. And each day I can hear my higher power. Foghorns blowing, birds chirping, kids playing the wind, blowing the tree with pink flowers. I look outside and I see other higher power. Succulents thriving, the wet parking lot from last night's rain shower. The seagulls flying from my fire escape toward the war. The blue sky that fades into creamy sky gold as the sun sets. I feel like a speck of dust in light of all of it. I feel invisible and at peace, and I embrace all the small things. The soggy wet leaves contrasting with the cold, crispy Northern California breeze. And I remember being a kid and the first songs I ever sung. Comes the time at Sugar Mountain by Neil Young. Cloudless innocence is wasted on the 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 young.